to Cocktail History. I'm Stephanie Kibler, the director here at the Freeborn County Historical Museum, Library and Village. With me is Rachel Lilienthal, who is coordinator of all of our exhibits and collections. And we are featuring, in honor of Valentine's Day, the Love Martini.
Right, because you're in pink, and I'm in red, and I have a bow.
You're in something.
Cupid has a bow.
Cupid.
And I have a bow. He has a bow, but I have a bow.
See, I rolled my eyes again there, folks. Sorry. We are deviating a little bit today because this is not a cocktail that's got a long history.
Right.
I did read that it started at the melting pot.
Yes. Right.
Which I don't know if you all are familiar with the melting pot, but it's a what do you call it when you have the hot oil that boils and you fondue?
Oh.
It's a fondue place. Sorry. So they're known for fondue, which is it's a fun place to go with, especially with a group, or like my granddaughter likes to go. So it's a fun little place to go. But their version didn't have vodka in it. So people have tweaked it because it was too sweet.
Oh, really?
So we're kind of deviating from our traditional historic cocktail and going with something for Valentine's Day, which we all know is coming up on Sunday.
Yeah. How do we start it?
Well, first I was going to say something. Do you know the story of Saint Valentine? Do you know that there's like 3 versions?
I know there's one that's very bloody and like terrible. Isn't there?
Yeah, I'm not going to talk about that one.
Oh, okay.
So there's 3 versions. I was only going to mention one,
Okay.
which I thought was kind of cool. It's according to one legend, an imprisoned Valentine actually sent the first Valentine greeting himself after he fell in love with a young girl who, as rumor has it, was the jailer's daughter.
Oh, wow.
And so before his death, and the daughter would visit him while he was in jail. So before his death, he sent a letter signed "From Your Valentine." And since that's the expression still used today, I thought that was kind of a neat,
Kind of a forbidden love there.
Yeah. It's interesting though, because this article went on to talk about all 3 of these legends are murky, but all of the stories emphasize his appeal as a sympathetic, heroic, romantic figure. So even the bloody, gory Saint Valentine,
That was also romantic.
considered heroic and romantic and sympathetic. Thought that was interesting.
Okay. Yeah, that is interesting.
Anyway, on to the Love Martini.
Yes.
So, first thing we're gonna do is take our lime and rim the glasses. So,
Okay, do I
just
run it.
well,
around?
kind of
You gotta squeeze it.
squeeze it a little bit because you want it to get a little
She's a master. Look at that.
liquidy.
That's
And then you're going to
kind of a fun tactile kind of thing.
sugar rim. I think you guys can see the sugar. So we're doing a little sugar rim with this one.
Oh my gosh.
And prior to that, we actually cut some strawberry and cut the lime. Some of the strawberries, if you slice them a certain way, you can make them look like hearts. So to mix, there it is. I was a little panicked. I thought my recipe didn't print. To mix, we're gonna do a little ice in our shaker.
Oh, okay.
And then we're doing an ounce each of rum. So we've got Malibu, peach schnapps, and vodka, and we've got the Grey Goose.
Is that good?
Might be a little much. You might want to dump a couple of those. Just pull them out.
I use my hand to put
Just use your
them in.
hands.
They're clean.
We do wash our hands prior, usually prior. So 1 ounce of each of those goes
cool.
in there.
Oh my gosh, we have the Grey Goose vodka.
I love Grey. That's my favorite. That's
See-
fresh out of my freezer.
Is this trying to consolidate the Duck Duck Goose versus Duck Duck Grey Duck?
I don't know.
1 ounce each?
1 ounce each. I don't know the answer to
That
that.
was me being cheeky.
Yeah, you were being cheeky. So here's, I have to ask you this too. Have you heard of, I don't know if I'm gonna say this right. Is it Lupercalia? Lupercalia?
No.
So there's some rumor that, bit by the cork, that, that Valentine's, possibly shares or comes from a pagan event called Lupercalia, which is held every year in Rome on February 15th. That, however, was a bloody and violent charged celebration that involved animal sacrifice, random matchmaking, and coupling in the hopes of warding off evil spirits.
Oh my.
So,
That's on an episode of the new Sabrina show on Netflix.
well, I thought that was kind of interesting. Well, yeah,
Definitely pagan.
so you're doing the schnapps, then you're going to. Oh, and then you still have to do the Malibu. Is that correct?
Nope, I did the Malibu.
Oh, you did the Malibu. So then we're gonna do 4.5 ounces of cranberry juice.
Cool.
Just gonna make that mixing a little, maybe a bigger shaker, maybe for 2. And then once you have that in there, we're gonna shake that up a little bit. And
4.5.
4.5. And carefully pour it, because we don't want to pour so that it knocks our sugar off. So you're gonna have to pour very carefully with this one.
Didn't spill on my white. I was looking. Okay. And we're doing it shaken, not
Shaken,
stirred.
shaken,
Shaken.
shaken.
That's James Bond.
Yes, that is James Bond. That's with a real martini, not a love potion.
Number 9.
What is that? Was that who sang that? Love Potion number 9. I love that song.
That's a good song. Keep shaking.
Keep shaking. You're probably good. And then just
Pretty
pour gently. It's really a pretty drink. A pretty color. Do you want me to pour
Yes,
those?
please.
watch, I'll mess it up.
Oh no, that's nice.
And then we're going to add a couple strawberries in each one. So they just float kind of on the top. So they look like a heart floating.
That'd be kind of cool if you froze them. They'd be like,
Or like little ice cubes.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. And then just slide your little, like that. And that's how you do a Love Martini. It's actually really cute. I wish I could show you the inside, but they are really a pretty beverage. All right, so let's cheers. I don't want to cheers because we're going to lose our sugar. Oh goodness, that's really good.
Really good.
That might
It's not
be
too sweet for you?
no, that one's not. I think without the Grey Goose, I could see where that would be too sweet. That's really nice because you get just a hint of the peach, and it mellows the cranberry. But that's very good.
Isn't there a thing where if you have vodka in a martini, it's actually called a kangaroo?
I can't answer that.
I think that's a thing.
I'm usually opposed to. I don't consider this a martini. I consider this a drink.
Right, but when vodka in a martini, when vodka replaces the gin, it's called a kangaroo.
Well, I'm going to order that and see if a bartender
it.
knows next time.
That sounds
Whenever,
fun.
as soon as things open and I can be out and about again, I'm going to try. I'm going to say, give me a kangaroo straight up dry 2 green olives.
Nice.
I'm probably going to
get a weird look.
Anyway,
But as it's Valentine's Day.
it is Valentine's
so
Day.
We talk about love during Valentine's Day a lot.
Romance.
And we talk about Cupid.
We do.
The guy that shoots the arrows who has a bow.
And his Greek name would be?
Eros. I love that.
Eros.
Yep.
Yes.
And Eros in Greek was a form of love that was the passionate romantic love. The Greeks had 8 different versions of love. And so, it had Eros. I actually have a handy dandy little chart here.
Oh my, she really does,
It's a
folks.
lovely little chart. Eros was romantic. Philia was affectionate. I might be saying this wrong. I know people who speak Greek, but I can very easily do it wrong. They can correct me. Storga is familial.
That sounded Norwegian.
It might be, right, though. Agape is the selfless, kind of spiritual love.
Spell agape.
Agape.
Okay, because that's used a lot in Native American language. I believe
Oh, yeah.
agape is a home. Oh, I'm gonna have to look that up. We'll have to talk about that down the
sounds
road.
interesting. Ludus is the playful kind of love. Pragma is mature. Philautia is self-love. Philautia is a self-love. And then mania is the obsessive love, which you could possibly argue isn't actually love. But
I would say it is. It's just not
healthy.
a healthy love, maybe. Yeah. And so we're gonna focus a little bit on
mania
today.
Mhm. With a story that happened here in Freeborn County.
Couple stories.
Yes. Do you want to start with?
No, you start with Mr.
Okay.
Kriegler.
Okay, Mr. Kriegler was a German man who lived in Nunda Township in 1859 or 1858.
Yes, 58 was when this happened.
Was the first murder to happen in Freeborn County. This happened by, Kriegler was known for whipping or beating his wife.
Yes.
And a nice man named Nelson Boughton said that he would take her in and protect her from her husband. Her husband didn't like this. Kriegler then threatened to kill him. And she and her child were living at his house with his wife and 2 children. Kriegler comes over with a knife while Boughton was stacking hay.
Yep.
So he's got his pitchfork. Henry Kriegler is coming at him with a knife, gets him in the elbow, in the shoulder, and then finally on his back, just nicked his backbone and pierced his heart. Which, in the newspaper from 1879, it got a little graphic in saying that his blood spurted 10 feet.
Ew.
That's a bit graphic.
That's a bit graphic.
But
I didn't remember that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
One of the things that I really liked about this case is it actually ties a little Steele County history to a little Freeborn County history. As the blood flew some 10 feet from the standard, the Albert Lee Standard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But he was promptly arrested.
He was, yep.
Very promptly arrested.
Oh God. There wasn't a jail. Remind me again, where did they hold him initially?
They held him at somebody's house.
That's right.
I think it was it the sheriff's house?
Maybe.
I think it was the sheriff's house. I'm not entirely sure, but it was a home in Albert Lee that they held him until they got him to Steele County, where he was held. Or was it Faribault County first, and then it went to Steele County?
And then to Steele.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes.
And he was tried in Steele County.
Right. Because
that's the tie there.
right, Freeborn County didn't have a jail to hold him at the time.
But he was executed in Freeborn County.
Mm-hmm. Where do they have it written?
On South Broadway.
Yep. It's where the drive-in root beer stand used to be. Yeah.
Okay, so here. He was placed under arrest and confined
The
to a
Weber
Weber house where the St. Paul clothing store is located.
Was
So, but
located.
you'll still see that building is
Mhm.
still there.
Yeah.
Corner of Main and Broadway, I think, is where the
Yeah.
St. Paul clothing building was located.
Yep, and he was put into homemade handcuffs when they took him up to hang him. That was the first and only hanging in Freeborn County.
Yeah.
And we have those handcuffs.
We do.
Yes. J.E. Murtaugh donated that to us in 1959.
Yeah. No, that was when the hanging was.
No, 1859 was when he
Oh,
committed
that's
the murder.
right. That's right. 1959 was when we got the handcuffs.
Yeah.
My apologies.
Yeah,
You
no,
are correct.
yeah. And his father was at the hanging and saw it happen. And he was buried in the handcuffs. And when he was then dug up, when a highway went through where he was buried, the handcuffs were given to J.E. Murtaugh, who gave it to us. Yeah.
And they are on display here. Only May through September, because they are part of our county jail exhibit, but they are a fascinating piece of history here. We also have another dark
Was it?
love story.
Yeah.
That
Which
we-
is also mania.
It definitely.
Yeah.
We based our very first Uncorking History on, which we will be resuming those again once things open up a little more. But the demonic deeds of the love-struck young bohemian is what we titled it. And I can't remember how we pronounce this young man's name. Joe, and it's spelled Chmelik.
Oh.
I wasn't sure. Is it Chmelik?
Schmelik?
Schmelik, maybe. But Joe was in love with a young woman that he really was, I guess, had kind of related to.
Mm-hmm.
It was
They
his
were some
aunts
kind
and
of cousin.
uncles.
Yeah.
I think he was a stepson of maybe, I can't quite recall that, but
Right.
he was in love. So this is out of one of the newspapers. Joe was consumed with an intense love or lust for Mary, notwithstanding she was his half-niece, and that he became deeply jealous at the attentions of her other admirers.
Right. Mm-hmm. He even went to blows with some of them, didn't he?
Yes, at the
Oh my
Bohemian
gosh.
Dance Hall. Yes, pulled out brass knuckles was the rumor, and assaulted one of her admirers, and he seemed to be enraged at her for repulsing him or preferring other suitors. There was a letter that the murdered girl, so Mary, had received from the Glenville post office the afternoon before the tragedy, and she was reading it in Joe's presence on the fatal evening. It was from a lover in Bancroft and was very ardent. The concluding sentence is, "I only wish I could be with you all the time and have all the good kisses I want." And it is thought that Mary shared that tauntingly with Joe before he murdered her,
Yeah.
her mother,
Mhm.
and her sister. Yes, so he shot.
That's why, because I remember
Yes.
there were 3 bullets, but actually 4 bodies.
Yeah, because then he did commit suicide.
Possibly. Yep.
Yes, because
They
they
don't know for sure.
they ruled it a suicide,
Yeah.
but there was some question.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's our love stories at Freeborn County Historical Museum.
Although when we did one of our other drinks, we talked about love in a hardware store in Hollandale.
Correct.
Right? So there are definitely more lovely love stories in Freeborn County.
That was with our puppeteer,
Right.
and he and his wife were married for, golly, was it like 55, 60 years, something like that. They had a,
Yeah.
yes, yes. So I did have Linda also, I'd asked Linda down in the library.
I haven't heard these.
Well, they're not really love stories,
Okay.
but it's out of the diary of John Meehan. So in 1930, John Meehan on February 16th wrote, "After Sunday school, wife and I get some hot hamburgers in a box, a few donuts, and a thermos bottle filled with coffee for a picnic dinner, which is later consumed about 7 miles east of Austin on the road to Leroy."
Oh my gosh.
Which is really cute.
That's so sweet.
And this is written from 1930 in September 18th. "Very attractive day for the 400 women who come out to house for the afternoon reception. Tea was poured on east side of home. I'm not sure what this word is. Supicion. Isupcion. That to keep
Oh.
flies from bothering outside, they were all let into the house. Chamber of Commerce handled transportation nicely, and the lake behaved beautifully. Catherine looked her best. She handled such matters delightfully,
Aww.
which was really sweet. In 1931, February 19th, he writes, "See Greta Garbo in Inspiration. Do not motion picture and fiction producers rather overdo suddenness of love between masculine A and feminine B.
Yeah. Yeah.
They leave development through acquaintance, education out of account." So
That's
clearly,
fair.
and that's, I'm guessing that's him saying he and Mary developed
Catherine.
through acquaintance and education. His diary is really fun. It's full of a lot of
my
little
gosh.
tidbits.
I was
This-
not prepared for that.
This is really cute because in 1938 he says, "Miss Foley, office worker, asks whether marriage can cancel her job. I say no. Why this outcry against married women working outside their homes? Strikes me it leads to living together without any ceremony of marriage." Pretty
I like
progressive
him.
for
I like
1938.
him.
Let's see. Oh, this is cute too. On August 18th, that same year, Catherine and I Ford as the car, Ford it from Albert Lee to parking lot behind St. Paul Hotel in 2 hours, 22 minutes. So they must have been spending the evening in the cities.
Aw.
Yeah, so just kind of fun little blurps by Mr. Meehan
that's so
about his wife
sweet.
Catherine, who it was kind of fun because we're currently putting together the Meehan Law Office. And we've talked a little bit about Catherine, so we really haven't talked much about him and his love for her. Yeah. So anyway, I guess happy Valentine's Day, everyone. Hopefully your Valentine's Day is filled with romance and not mania.
Yeah. Eros, not mania.
Yeah, yeah,
Or other forms of love.
yeah. Anyway, cheers. I'd recommend mixing one of these for your significant other, girlfriends, whatever, whoever you're going to celebrate with. Thanks, guys.